Alright, it is finally time. I've been wanting to talk about this movie for so long. It's only been like a month. But this was the Pixar movie that I was so excited for, so ready for. I had such high expectations for this movie. And now the question is, were those expectations met? Yes, completely met. This movie was so good. So in this video, this is going to be part one of just a review of Pixar's Soul. And it's also going to be the beginning of a series that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I'm unfortunately not very technically skilled in terms of editing, so this is going to be my first real attempt at it. But I want to be able to review movies and do more creative videos such as this, where I can voice my thoughts and voice my opinions on things that are special to me and things that I really, really enjoy. I genuinely loved Pixar's Soul. Pete Docter is a writer and a director who I have enjoyed his films for so long. So I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited to sit down and take a deep dive and analysis into Pixar's Soul. And I hope you guys enjoy it.
We can't taste either?
All that stuff is in your body.
No smell, no taste.
Or touch. See?
Okay, I get it. Wow. It's my life.
Is all this living really worth dying for? You're still alive?
Can you help me get back?
No way!
There I am. What are we waiting for?
Wait, not me!
That's weird.
What is it?
151,000 souls go into the great beyond every day, and I count every single one of them. The count's off.
Huh.
So throughout this video, I'm basically just going to put scenes in the background to supplement what I'm actually talking, so you don't really need to pay attention to what's going on screen. You can just listen to me talking. But so Pixar's Soul follows Joe, who is a jazz musician and a music teacher at a local, I believe it was a middle school. They didn't look old enough to be a high school. They're middle school. And he feels like his life is just not quite complete. He feels like there's something important missing. In his entire life, he's wanted to be a famous jazz musician. From when he was a kid and his dad took him to a jazz club, this was his dream. This was what he wanted to do. And he felt that that was what his life was building towards. And now Joe has this important audition that he has to do. He goes to the audition and he nails it. He does a really, really good job. And then he walks out, he's all excited, he's calling people, and then he walks into a pothole in the ground and falls into the sewer and dies. So, obviously, not the way you'd expect your normal day to go. But instead of accepting it and going into the great beyond, he jumps out, and it leads to this amazing animated sequence of him falling through what I can only guess is the fabric of the universe. It is the most beautiful scene that I've ever seen. The most beautiful scene that I've ever seen. Pretty sure it's about to show up on screen right now for you. But it is fantastic. Anyways, when he gets to wherever that bottom area is, it's called the Great Before, and he's seeing how souls are created and how they're sent to Earth. But he obviously doesn't want to go back to the Great Beyond, so he impersonates the... Oh my god, I forgot the term that I'm thinking of. He basically is acting as someone who helps mentor souls for Earth. And he's been tasked with soul number 22. As in, the 22nd soul ever to become sentient. So that soul's been there for a while. Because the one that came before it was 2 billion something. So, yeah, that soul's been there for a while. But And Joe and 22 go on a journey to get Joe back to his body. And this is when the movie scared me a bit, because when they successfully get back to Earth and are able to like get back into Joe's body, for a second I thought they were about to go into like a body swapping plot, because Joe isn't a cat and 22 is in Joe's body. But what I didn't realize is that by doing that, the movie actually offered the perfect opportunity for 22 to view Earth through the lens of a human. Because Joe did not want to go to Earth, 22 did not want to go to Earth. So this was an amazing move by the writers, because it totally threw me for a loop. And essentially the rest of the movie is 22 experiencing life through Joe's body and experiencing the small little things, like in this scene right there, watching someone play music and loving music, or for example seeing trees and leaves fall down from the sky. It was all of these beautiful scenes, and as a result Joe gets to learn from 22 and learn to enjoy the little things. He's been so focused on these goals that he's had set up for himself, that he's wanted to reach, that he's forgotten to stop and smell the roses. So one thing leads to another, and they eventually get caught and are taken back to the Great Before, and 22 is going to Earth. And I don't want to spoil the movie, so I'm not gonna, for at least this part, we're gonna delve into spoilers right after this. But at least for this part, I don't want to spoil the movie, so go watch the movie for yourself. What I've said so far doesn't ruin the movie at all. It is still a fantastic film that I'm really glad that I've seen. And now, actually, we're going to talk about what I didn't like about the movie, which is a short list, but I want to get it out of the way. But now we're going to talk about the short list of things that I didn't like about Pixar's Soul. Okay, obviously there's not very much I like about this movie. But most of the stuff that I'm going to say as something that I didn't like is just something that I think the movie could have done better. For example, I wish they showed more scenes of Joe teaching music. I like, it's a very big part of his life, and it's something that he realized at the end of the movie that he's been able to help people with. And they just kind of abandon it halfway through. But it's shown as this method by which he's been able to help people and change lives, and I just wish it was focused on more. I mean, obviously it's not a bad thing that it's not focused on more, it's just kind of a missed opportunity. The movie's only 2 hours, and in this day and age when there's films that are 2.5 hours pretty regularly, I honestly think this movie could have been 2.5 hours and still kept the same good pacing and the same heart and soul that the same heart and soul that it already has. But yeah, that's the first main thing that I didn't like. The second main thing that I didn't like was, as much as the body swapping plot is used for the benefit of the story, it still feels a little bit cliched at first, and they get through it pretty quickly, which is okay. But it just I don't know, give me the wrong feeling. I still really like this movie. Everything I'm saying is not speaking against this movie in a negative way at all. It's just stuff that I wish was either focused on more or less. That's about it, to be honest, in terms of stuff that I don't like. There is not very many bad things about this movie. It is a pretty solid movie all around. Alright, so this part will probably also be a little bit shorter, but not by fault of the movie, just because I have another dedicated part that's entirely for how I think this movie was the perfect thing that we needed in 2021. I'll get to that in a bit, and that's going to be a very serious part of the video, but also a very positive one. But I thought this movie was really mature for a Pixar movie. It dealt with some heavy topics. Some stuff that I think in 2020 in particular, a lot of people were coming to grips with. In particular, maybe your life goal isn't everything you wanted. I mean, right here, Joe has just achieved his life goal. He's got a gig. But then later in the movie, he realizes, oh, this wasn't everything that life could be. Another great, I think Tina Fey as 22 is hilarious. She's so funny. I think the entire cast is just amazing, and everybody does a great job. Even the side characters do a great job. Everybody's just so funny. The entire movie is just this perfect epitome of don't waste your life. Do everything you can to make sure that you're living your life as much as you possibly can in the moment, and still focusing on the future, because the future is important. But by no means does that mean that you can't enjoy what's going on right here, right now, today. And I think that's an amazing message that this movie has. This scene is so funny with just 22, and then she just melts on his head. I thought the Jerrys and Terrys were hilarious, and they were such a welcome addition, because they were so like unique, and the animation is so great. And that brings me to the animation. The animation of this film is spectacular. I mean, this is probably Pixar's best animated film, just because of what they did with the characters and the backgrounds, and like when Joe is falling through like the black void, I guess. I don't know, it's never really named. When he's falling through to the great before, the animation is just perfect. It's just chef's kiss. Oh god, why did I just say that? But I thought the whole idea of the film itself is such a great lesson for kids, and I think that's a great thing that Pixar did, that they let Pete Docter have the freedom and the creativity to go with this mature topic that a lot of studios probably would have shot down. If if it was just Disney doing this and not Pixar, they probably would have shot it down and focused more on the body swapping plot. So I think that was a really great thing that Pixar did. And with that, we're gonna get into the more serious part of this video, where I talk about why I think this why I think this movie is so special and so unique, and why I think in particular that it is so relevant for today. And yeah, I'll see you guys there. So now I want to sit back and talk about why this movie is so relevant today, and why it was so perfect that this movie came out in a year that was filled with just such heartbreak and such terrible events. And the timing of it is just impeccable. And this is the only part of the video that isn't even semi-scripted. I've had notes in front of me for the rest of this video, but this part of the video is just me talking about what this movie means to me and how I see this movie and how I think it positively affected everybody who watched it. 2020 was a terrible year. To cap off just a whole list of terrible years. 2016 sucked. 2017, 2018, 2019 were not much better. And then 2020 was just alright, let's make things a lot worse. But what I think the message of this movie means, and what I think is so special about it, is to cherish the little moments in your life. For me this year, I learned to do that. Even before I saw this movie, I learned to do that. I learned to cherish the moments that I could spend with my family, and to cherish the happiness I could bring other people, and to cherish just every single little thing that positively affected my life, and to hold it and not forget about it, and to just focus on every positive thing that I could. 2020 was not a good year, but by no means does that mean that we couldn't make it what we wanted it to be. Terrible things happened, yes. So many people died from COVID, many people lost loved ones, but at the end of the day, we're still here. And that's why I'm still thinking about this movie. This movie that just touched my soul, for lack of a better word, in such a positive way. And I think that's what's so special about Pixar movies.
We have to go back.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
To infinity and beyond!
We did it! Bing bong? Bing bong!
Take her to the moon for me.
He'll never give up on you. Ever.
Now go have an adventure.
Come here, you.
You have a gift.
Your only limit is your soul.
This is amazing!
Look, I'm a beautiful butterfly.
What's wrong, Mika? Nothing, Mama. Nothing at all.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
And now I want to touch on specifically why I think this movie was so perfect for this terrible year, why it's so relevant, why everybody should watch this movie. The core message of this movie is that we are constantly getting stuck in just the grind and the day in and day out, doing the same thing over and over again. And while it's possible to enjoy some things about your day, eventually doing the same thing over and over again is not going to positively affect you. You're going to lose yourself in the work. So, with that in mind, this movie took us on a journey through one man learning to love his life by realizing that he's lived a great one, and through a soul who's yet to be born on Earth, realizing that there's so much more to life than she ever thought. It's this perfect union of two completely different characters that just comes together in this beautiful scene. And in this scene in particular, right here, the one that's on screen, this is the first time in 10 years in a Pixar movie that I genuinely cried. That there was tears streaming down my face in a Pixar movie. The last time that it happened was Up, which coincidentally was also directed by Pete Docter. But this movie is so special and so relevant to what's going on right now. Throughout the movie, we're seeing Joe focusing on specific things that he needs to accomplish. Like, I need to get back. I need to get back to the concert. We need to get me back in my body so I can get back to the concert. And he never takes a moment to focus, he never takes a moment to just live in the moment, except for when he's with 22 or when he notices what 22 is doing. And I think that's just beautiful that we can help each other in this positive way and help each other live in the moment and make sure that every moment that we spend is important and worth our time. And I know there's a lot of people who are saying that the movie's racist because the Pixar's first black lead is like learns from a white lady, and I don't understand that at all, and I'm obviously not in a place where it's completely possible for me to understand it, but from my point of view, I see this just as two people helping each other. And I think the beautiful thing about all the souls being the same color is that it's the universal equalizer. That race doesn't mean anything, and that's not even the point of the movie. I just feel like I need to address it because I keep seeing things about it and it pisses me off. And for me, when I watched the trailer for this movie, I was like, awesome! A movie about a guy who loves music and learning to love his life through music? That's awesome, sign me up. And it was so much more than that. It was this unique story about two people helping each other learn in different ways and helping each other grow. And I just keep watching it over and over again because I keep finding new things to enjoy about it. This random movie made by Pixar that I was obviously very excited for touched my heart in ways that I didn't expect. So if you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. It's on Disney Plus for free. It's so great. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling worried about what 2020 did and what the coming year is going to do and what's going to happen, watch this movie. Obviously, if you've been through something terrible, that's terrible, and you should never have to deal with that, but this movie is the perfect way to learn to love your life and learn to appreciate the people around you. And I really, really like it. Like, I can't stress that enough, how much I think people should watch this movie. So go watch it. Alright guys, that's about everything I've got for you. This video ended up being shorter than I expected, but I've got all my thoughts on the movie out, and I've got how I feel about it. And I genuinely hope you go and watch this movie if you haven't already. This movie was so special to me, and by the end of it, I couldn't wait to watch it again. And it's one that I'm gonna think about for the rest of my life, because it's so special. Alright. Bye guys. Hope you have a great day.